Hey guys, Matt Z here from Optimus Futures. Wanted to talk today about your long-term goals as traders and short-term goals as traders. And I think that all of you should be working towards long-term goals, but yet realizing the obstacles that are in your short-term goals or the short-term performance that you are receiving out of your account. I think a lot of it is psychological, and since we're dealing with money, I know that it's very easy for me here to say think this and think that, but at the same time, what I'm about to tell you, whether it has to do with money or it has to do with success in general, still applies. So first of all, you have to think about long-term results of your trading. It's very hard to focus on the day-to-day in terms of performance. You have to look at longer periods. You have to look at a month, 3 months, 6 months, or even years of performance. And yet, I feel that many traders are stuck in the minute by minute, or the hourly, or the day. And today I want to talk about two specific terms that I think you should throw out of your dictionary. It's winning and losing. So, although it has to do with money, you could have a losing trade or you could have a winning trade. And you can say, I won a trade or I lost a trade. But that's a very, very narrow focus. Now, unfortunately, nobody came up with better terminology, because when you lose money, you do, or you lose a trade, you do lose money. And when you win, you earn money. But if you were able to disassociate winning and losing, because psychologically, if you lose, it means that you've done something, you didn't perform to the best of your ability. But that's not always the case in trading. You can have the best trades in the world, meaning that you have the perfect setup, you did everything right, and with the disciplined approach, but it just didn't work out. And that's why I suggest replacing it with terms that you're more comfortable with. Let me give you an example. So instead of saying, I lost, you can say I retreated. And instead of saying I won, you can say I advanced, right? Or I proceeded, today to trade, or I would say advanced would be a better term. So let me tell you basically how I look at it. If you look at, for example, an analogy to, world poker and traders, and I know nobody wants to think of themselves as a gambler, and I know that you're not as traders, but we can use analogies from people who take, from champions, and where numbers, math, and psychology does play a role. So if you look at, for example, a game of poker, you would see that many times, many professionals, they throw in the cards or they fold because they just realize they don't have a good hand, right? They could have maybe not a good hand was dealt, when it was originally, or they realize they have a bad hand after the flop. And what I'm telling you is that sometimes when you have a bad trade, sometimes you just have to get out right away. Now, those people who fold, even though they're champions, they don't think of it right that minute that they lost, right? They don't think the minute that they throw in the cards, they lost, because they still have capital, they still have the ability to come back. And maybe as traders, this is how we all ought to think, that a single trade doesn't really mean much as long as you preserve your capital, right? So as long as you don't do, things that are against risk management, for example, to go all in, or basically adding money to losing positions, or if you stop that and you have a few losing trades, it's absolutely fine. What happens in the market? You can have a perfect setup and you go in, but all of a sudden the conditions have changed, right? Conditions have changed now, and basically your trade is not good anymore. Now, if the trade is good and it's progressing in your favor and you're trying to protect it, and then it's progressing even more, and the market is conducive to your method, this is where you're going to make your money. So again, don't think of every single time that you trade as a win or a loss. Even if you had an amazing win, the way to think of it is basically, is that you advanced, right? Things worked in your favor. And the next trade, you could have losses, but again, you had to take those losses because the market didn't play in your favor. And this is how you distinguish between long-term goals and short-term goals. You don't get depressed if you had a bad day. You don't get depressed if you had a bad week. And at the same time, you don't go through sheer utopia and complete happiness that you're the best trader in the world if you had a week. So you try to maintain it all on an even keel, and you replace your terms. Now you can have your own terms, right, that you come up with instead of a win or a loss. You could come up with things that you feel comfortable. I just came up with advancing and retreating, right? Kind of this is something that I kind of thought of really fast. And basically when I say that, right, it's just easier on me. So when I don't have a good day, I say, I retreated today. What wasn't the greatest of things. And when the market was good, you can say I advanced. So anyway, I hope you understand the example that I used. And I hope that you understand that psychology does play a huge role in your decision making and how you think about trading. Because if you consistently beat into your head that you lost, right, you start losing confidence. And when you lose confidence, you start doing, well, unfortunately I have to say, you start doing not so smart things, right? When it comes to trading, you try to make all your money back, you're trying to do revenge trading, you go into over trading and all those things. In any case, so defining what's a good market for you, what's not a good market, retreat, advance, and I hope that will help you in the performance of your account. Would love to earn your business here at Optimus Futures. If you love our tips, just click the like button, and I'll see you on the next video. I wish you all a good weekend. It's a Friday today, so I hope next week will work out for you and you'll advance. Until then, Matt Z, and from the crew at Optimus Futures. Thank you.